The Xbox Bethesda deal is done. It's ready to go, and we're getting a bunch of games that are going to be coming to Game Pass tomorrow. We're going to talk about this whole breakdown, the Phil Spencer interview right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. How are you? Great day, great to see you, good to meet you. Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming back. Guys, do me a favor, if you are new to the show, watch this episode, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoy the content and all the gaming coverage we have here on the show. Today, Game Pass, Microsoft, Xbox, Phil Spencer, Bethesda. There, that's all the words. Those are all the main words you guys need. Bye. There was a round table that happened today with Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, talking about the Bethesda acquisition and giving us a little bit more insight of not only of the titles that are immediately coming to Game Pass, but he also shed some light on what a lot of us have been wondering outside in the community as Xbox fans, as just players in general of Bethesda titles, Bethesda games, is what will happen to these games that are on other platforms. So here's the rundown of the games that we are going to be getting on Game Pass tomorrow. We have Dishonored, Dishonored 2, we have Doom, Doom 64, Doom 3, Doom Eternal, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Prey, Rage 2, the Elder Scrolls series, so 3, 4, 5, and Scrolls Online, The Evil Within, and the Wolfenstein series. So New Order, Old Blood, and Young Blood. So 20 games from Bethesda are coming over to Game Pass. If that doesn't really just scream that they're trying to get out of the gate with something huge for Bethesda with this acquisition and get gamers on there on for Game Pass, I don't know what else they need to do right now. Those are some heavy hitting titles, as well as some really awesome classic games to be able to go into your back catalog. Something like Doom 2 and Doom 64, that has me getting itchy to go, as well as Dishonored, because the Dishonored franchise I missed out on and I haven't gone back to play. So I want to be able to get back into that series, and Wolfenstein is an incredible series. What they also mentioned, what Phil talked about in this round table too, was how some of these titles are actually going to see, at some point, they're going to be seeing that Xbox FPS boost for the Series X and S consoles that we've seen with some of the titles so far, like Far Cry, for example. What do you all think of this list of 20 titles coming over to Game Pass starting on Friday, tomorrow? I think that this is massive. I think that this is a real shot in the arm. It beefs up the Game Pass catalog again, and we already had like our March lineup of releases of titles for Game Pass, like NBA 2K, as well as Madden, for all through like, you know, EA Play and Game Pass itself. But you're just seeing like just 20 more games on top, and so many of these are considered to be, you know, up for Game of the Year. Games like Dishonored 2, games like Doom, classic Doom is in there as well. Like the Elder Scrolls series is massive. Wolfenstein is, they're incredible games on their own. These aren't just like old Bethesda titles, back catalogs that are just kind of, man, like these are giant tentpole titles that we are getting across this franchise. Is there anything that was left out for you that you're like, man, I really want to see this? I'd be curious. Let me know in the comments below. Now, as this round table was going on, Phil was asked the question regarding, you know, other platforms like PlayStation having the Bethesda games over there on their platforms, and what does that mean in the future for these titles and for gamers in the community as well. And Phil gave a pretty, I'd say pretty upfront answer about this, and he's very honest about the current situation, current state of it. But I do have a question that I'll get to at the end and pose it to all of you. But here's Phil's quote. Phil Spencer says that, quote, "Obviously I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive, because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players, we love these communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there may be things that have contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do." He continues on by saying, "But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing that I want you to know is that this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. That's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of the partnership that we're building, and the creative capability we'll be able to bring to the market for Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been for Xbox after we're done here." So I'm glad that Phil addressed this, because as soon as we started hearing all of the rumblings and really hearing that this deal was finalized between Xbox and Bethesda, this is what so many of you in the community were talking about, and what I was talking about too was, okay, what does this mean for any games that are supposed to already be, you know, scheduled to come out on other platforms, or what does it mean for future titles down the road? And Phil pretty much addressed this, that there's contracts that they have to abide by, that they're going to play out. And he said this in previous interviews, where it's going to be kind of like title by title, case by case, where they have to look at it. But he's trying to promote and push that we will have, best experience and best opportunity to play over on Game Pass, where these games are housed. And I think that's also got to do with why they are putting just 20 main Bethesda titles on Game Pass. It is to drive home the message to the market and to gamers that this is where Bethesda titles are played. It's on Xbox, it's on Game Pass. The line where Phil says that these are contractual obligations that we're going to see through, that line I took as my big takeaway. And my question then to all of you is going to be like, he's going to see these contracts go through, obviously. But do you think that as he has these contractual obligations that Xbox does with other platforms, be it PlayStation, Sony, do you think that once that contractual obligation of, say, the title needs to be on the platform for a year or exclusive, or maybe there's, DLC that's supposed to be promised to another platform, do you think that Xbox will simply ride out those contract obligations and then immediately just put it on Game Pass, and then that's the end of the title on other platforms? Or do you think that they will go down the path of like, we're just going to continually support it over here because it's going to be more revenue overall? It is a tricky thing, because I understand that they've got to stick through the contracts. They have to keep these titles across any of the commitments and the platforms that they've set out. But what will be interesting is when those contracts are up and a title is no longer exclusive to another platform or needs to be on there to begin with. Once that's up, I feel like there could be almost another cycle of games that once they finish up those immediate contracts with Bethesda that they had, maybe then we're going to see them start to migrate fully over onto Xbox and Game Pass as a platform. What I'm interested in, everybody, is that what we see from Bethesda and Xbox and Game Pass in like 2 years, when certain titles are out of their contractual obligations, where do we see the future of all of this? And I think that, like Phil was trying to talk about, the future is on Game Pass for Bethesda, and they're going to do everything in their power as they own it, that they're going to put everything into Game Pass and Ultimate and xCloud and PC, and having everything driven over there versus other platforms. But I just wonder, are we going to have titles moved away from platforms like PlayStation in a couple of years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's episode of Assemble. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below of Phil Spencer's interview, the roundtable, discussing the 20 titles of Bethesda games that are coming over to Xbox Game Pass starting Friday, tomorrow, the 12th. I'm going to be very interested. I got a lot to download. Now I have to get the external storage. See? Now I'm screwed. Do me a favor and check out our other episodes, because we have another episode covering Marvel's Avengers that just went up this morning, covering everything in one video episode of all the things that are coming for the March 18th update. So if you are an Avengers fan, you want to check that out, we got that video for you as well here today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, thank you for assembling with us. See ya.